Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello,
Uh,
hello.
yeah,
Hey Gamma, welcome.
thank you very much. Pleasure to
Hello.
be here. Hey, Atta.
Hey Atta. Hi Mertzdal.
Hello.
Sorry, what was the name again? Um, okay. So, well, let me introduce myself. I am Gama, community manager from PrimeDAO, and yeah, we're here. Me and Atta are here to hear more about like what you guys are doing, get to know you, and touch base with us in the proposal inverter thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hey, I'm really sorry. What DAO did you say you're from?
PrimeDAO.
Prime?
PrimeDAO. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks Gamma. Thanks for that introduction and welcome. It's nice to see so many new faces jumping in the lab. That's really exciting. Always good to see. So looks like this is kind of like the PrimeDAO squad jumping in. Maybe Atta, Dijanta, and Mertzdal. I think you guys are all new here as well. Maybe just a quick introduction.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Ata, also from PrimeDAO. I'm mostly involved there with the DAO-to-DAO platform PrimeDeals that we are developing, and I'm helping there with like business development, potential partnerships, and potential like new DAO-to-DAO interaction modules, which proposal inverter hopefully will be one of them. And I'm particularly excited about this. To create like a funding mechanism for multiple DAOs to come together and support open research, support new projects, new grants, new grant structures, etc. That's help the ecosystem.
I can go ahead. So it's Mert. I've been hanging around in Tech Discord for some time, but I mostly supported Omega working group. I was mostly participating in it. But since the proposal inventor and DAO to DAO collaborations are interesting for me, like I'd like to learn and work more on it. So I participated lab working group call as well. So looking forward to learn and work more on those stuff.
Awesome, thanks Mertz. Nice to have you here. And one more new handle here. Oh, Dijanta, you're to go yet?
Yeah,
Yeah, you go ahead.
yeah. I'm new here actually. I've just joined here 2-3 days ago. This is my first DAO. I am a smart contract developer by profession now. Earlier, I was a mobile app developer. So I just joined here to know what's going on in the tech side and how I can help, how I can contribute.
Awesome, great to have you. That's wonderful.
Yep. Thanks.
So a couple more new faces jumping in too. So maybe not your handle and Nick Steele, if you guys just want to give a quick introduction.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Nikita, and I've recently joined the token engineering community because I'm trying to develop a project. Written a white paper, and it's about what it entails. It allows people to invest in non-profit organizations and make a profit out of it, but in a different way to the the Commons Lab. It's more of a where in the Commons Lab, it relies on altruism in the sense that the asset that is correlated to a sort of project doesn't necessarily go up in value if that project makes progress in real life. In my project, the progress in real life would actually translate to economic value inside the asset which represents it. That's kind of what I'm working on, and I'm basically looking to build a team of token engineers who could help me with the development and the simulations.
Awesome. That's super exciting. Very close to my heart as I work with a lot of sort of impact projects. Nearby where I live, I'm on the west coast of Canada, and there's some
Nice.
logging. Yeah, oh, it's beautiful. I love it here. And but there's some logging happening on old growth forests, so that's something I've been extremely involved in and engaged with, and seeing what kind of crypto solutions we can use to bring in sort of alternative economics outside of just extractive industry and logging. So yeah, in terms of funding nonprofits, I mean, I think the way I see it is like the path to mass adoption for crypto is when crypto saves the world. Like when we start.
No, I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think I mean what I'm trying to do is more build a kind of a layer, not layer 1, but layer 1.5 framework where someone can I've kind of designed the system so someone can build a market specifically around a sort of, let's say, a public good, like let's say parks, and those parks will have a certain success criteria which will differ to science or something else like rubbish collecting. All of these things which are different ways of measuring success outside of profit. Like in the profit world, it's obvious. When you have shares, the dividends provided from those shares, there's a lot of things which go into that. Let's say future cash flows, as well as future growth. But we don't have the same. We don't have a bridge from the profit to the non-profit, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build that kind of layer 1. And then like entrepreneur can come in and build a market specifically around parks or science, and you'll have a lot of individual investors inside each of those markets and a lot of individual projects looking to raise funds. And the investor could make money if a project made some real progress in real life, if there were systems built on that market to measure that progress transparently.
Awesome. Have you seen the article that came out from the Optimism team called Retroactive Funding for Public Goods?
I remember reading something familiar with the same name, but I'm not sure if it was that exact article.
Yeah, you
Perhaps
gotta. I'll
could you
drop it
could
in
you
the labs. I recommend everyone read this. I think this is huge, and what you're talking about is really important because this article basically says that that's what we need, and that's what we're gonna do. It says we're gonna create funding.
I actually remember where I saw it. I think I saw it not in an article, in a talk Vitalik was giving.
Oh,
But
awesome.
I'd be interesting to read an article. Thank you.
Yeah, and they leave out a lot of the details about how it's actually gonna, like the mechanism or how they're gonna pull it off. So it's very timely if you're actually focusing on the design, the token engineering of how to like facilitate that, then it would probably be really complementary to this team's work.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm working on. But my background is more economics, entrepreneurship, and as well as I've learned a lot about crypto, incentive design. But the actual core mathematics and the modeling, I don't really have experience in, which is why I'm really trying to bolster that side of things through this community.
Excellent. Really nice to have you here. That's a lot of complementary skills and good day to join. We're gonna bring up some cool stuff today.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yes. So, not your handle. Do you want to give a little introduction?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sorry for joining a little bit late. Let me know if you can hear me as well.
Oh yeah, we hear you well, and no worries joining.
Awesome. Yeah, so joined pretty recently. I've been just helping out with some of the review around the TC dashboard. My skill set is around, I guess, similar to actually to Nick. Product management. I was previously a chief product officer at a Series A, Series B fintech in London. Prior to that, I built a company in the space. So we were in the kind of NFT decentralized space. Yeah, that's kind of it. I actually missed the preamble for what we're supposed to be doing here, so I'm just riffing off what I heard previously.
Oh yeah, we haven't even made it to the preamble yet. Just because we got so many new faces today, it's nice to do this kind of round of introductions. So you're right on time. Don't worry.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks for that. Also, thanks everyone. Everyone else, I think we've seen at least a few times before in the labs. So we'll that's perfect. So I think everyone's introduced. Now, I always start the same way, just a reminder. So I've got my screen share going, but the labs is a very participatory environment. Sometimes it's a bit more seminar, lecture based, but often it's more like collaboration, parallel development, co-research, this kind of stuff. So I always like to start off with just a reminder that if you go up to the labs channel, the labs text channel in Discord here, and you open up the pinned messages, then it's the second one there, that's the agenda. So you can open up the agenda and it will bring you here. So I've just started filling in today with a few of these introductions, some notes on introductions, new people, that's always good. I might have, yeah. So I think I got everyone. So,
Sorry, did you say you're sharing your screen? How this is like the first time I'm on a Discord, like a
awesome.
like a voice chat. How do you like see? How can I see your screen?
So you should be able to click on my name where it says live.
Okay, got it. Thanks. Sorry.
Oh, nice. No, good question. Probably someone else was thinking
Hey,
the same thing.
YGG. It looks like my name corrected to media instead of meta in the attendees.
In the doc here? Wait, I haven't written it.
Oh no, that's Friday, September 7th. Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
last weekend. I'm sorry.
Good point.
Sorry.
So everyone, so in addition to the new people, this is good to do. I like to have the data set here. So actually, I'll just fill this in. So everyone try to make your way to the agenda, so that you have access to this. You can like bookmark it, but it's always accessible through the pinned channels as well. So feel free to fill in your name, if you beat me to it. Metaverde. I think it should be. Do you guys have edit access on this or just comment?
I've got edit.
Yeah, it's edit access.
I don't know if I can give.
Okay, cool.
Are we still doing the spreadsheet sign in on this too?
Oh no, that I haven't been doing that. I've just been using this one doc, but we could reconcile those. But because the labs took a break for like a couple months, and then we got back to it, so we're not using all the same systems as before. Good. So the agenda for today is to focus, since we have some guests from PrimeDAO, we're going to be focusing on the proposal inverter, which we had set down for a couple sessions. We were opening up the reward systems research, but let's hop back into the proposal inverter today. So from my mind, there's a few things that we want to do. I think it'd be nice to open up the floor for Gamma and Atta to talk a little bit about DAO to DAO, development from PrimeDAO.
And I'm sorry again, do we have somebody recording this?
Yeah, I'm recording this.
Okay, cool.
Good question. And there's a good document that I've seen, Gamma and Atta. There is this sort of spec on, I could probably bring it up. Let's see, where have I stored that? It might just be in my downloads. I think it would be nice to kind of bring this up and just go through it quick for a few minutes.
I have it. I can send it to the
In the labs channel, maybe?
Yeah.
Cool.
Just share it.
Awesome, thank you. And we'll we'll get some updates from Austin. Austin and Taz have been very actively working on the proposal inverter modeling, so we can bring that up and show what that looks like, and then we can basically talk about next steps. And that will probably round out the hour. On the proposal inverter model. Okay, so let's say we have 45 minutes, so maybe each of these things takes about 15 minutes, and if it's less, then that's fine. We can definitely fill space at the end talking about next steps. So I think I'll invite Gamma and Atta to go ahead and talk a bit about the DAO to DAO work coming out of PrimeDAO, and yeah, if you guys want to take that in any direction, maybe go through that document, like screen share it, or just talk about it more general.
Do you wanna go at it? And
Yeah, sure, I can go.
about the DAO to DAO thing.
Yes. So basically, DAO or Prime Deals, until we find a cooler name, is basically a platform that can facilitate DAO interaction, where two DAOs or multiple DAOs come together and they engage in a contractual exchange to do something, to collaborate, to cooperate, to do something together. There are like certain modules, protocols that facilitate these interactions, such as token swaps that allow two DAOs to swap tokens on chain with like customized vesting schedules, etc., to align incentives. We are working on giving the ability to DAOs to create a meta DAO, like a common safe multi-sig wallet, which they can use for various purposes. We are trying to help them co-incentivize a liquidity pool or co-fund a liquidity pool. And proposal inverter mechanism is also one of the protocols that we want to develop for Prime Deals, which basically a module for helping DAOs pool together their resources to co-fund a new group, a squad, a research organization that adds value to all of them. And proposed inverter mechanism came out during the DAO to DAO research that Block Science and Curve Labs was doing. And Jeff Emmett from Block Science was, I think, like leading this whole like conceptualization in the beginning. And I think that Block Science, TEC, Common Stack came together to actually build it. So PrimeDAO's involvement here is to actually like support like the squads, like mini groups, sub DAOs, or like these guilds that are building these specific modules, and hopefully integrate them to the Prime Deals platform with customized like interaction framework in UI and UX on top of the protocol, on top of the code. Was I clear? Does anyone have any questions?
So does this hold the same voting mechanism for these funds? Is it using like conviction voting for?
Okay, so proposed inverter mechanism itself, what it is, basically, it is like nothing is finalized. I believe there is some like logical structure that has been built and documented, which is also included in the documents that are inside the proposal. I shared the link there. But what proposed inverter tries to achieve is basically allow multiple DAOs to pool together funds in a funnel that can emit a certain percentage of the total funds deposited continuously to the groups that are being funded by this alliance of DAOs, and have approval or consent mechanism that keeps the funds in the funnel to flow into these funded organizations, as long as all the funding DAOs are satisfied with the progress. So we want to create a structure in which like open research organizations or other kind of groups can get funding from multiple DAOs in a system where they can regularly update their progress reporting without having to go to each DAO one by one, but just like reporting through this proposed inverter scheme, and to receive compensation and funding for their future work, as long as they can find enough DAOs that believe in what they are doing and are happy with their roadmap.
Thanks, Ada. I think that's a wonderful introduction to the proposal inverter and PrimeDAO's general sort of belief in the interactions of DAO to DAO. A lot of people have been telling me lately, focus on the why, not the how or the what, and I think you did that well, because this just shows how if there's something good to be built, this enables it to get funding, because any DAO can tap in and become part of those shared pooled resources that go to funding that development. So, does anyone else have any questions? Do you guys want to bring up there's a PDF that was shared with me from PrimeDAO on the overall, a bit more of a specification of what's being built out in terms of all the DAO to DAO components.
I'm not sure about the PDF. Are you talking about the Medium article or? Okay, you pulled off.
Oh, I have it here.
Okay. So this is for the token swap. But yeah.
So this is the token swap. So this is definitely different from the proposal inverter. But it's nice to see that this is what a spec looks like, at least coming out of PrimeDAO. Now, Dr. Zargum did us a huge favor and also made a very formal sort of mathematical spec for the proposal inverter, which I think I'll bring up in a couple minutes to round off this introduction, because that's what got us started and kicked off in the TEC here. And that is also why in the proposal there is requested funds that go to block science. That's just they have done a lot of sort of preliminary work on this, and I think they want to take those funds and send them to like a sort of charity or something. Like they feel like they don't really want to get paid for the work that they did on this. So it's more just contribution to the ecosystem. But they can take those funds and do what they want with them. So so there's the token swap model. So this can be modeled as well. There's various components that are all sort of interacting here in the PrimeDAO DAO to DAO mechanism. So I like this last slide. And it talks about, of course, the DAO to DAO deals or token swaps. But this enables also the joint venture module, the liquidity bootstrapping and farming module, and the proposal inverter module. So I think this to me just feels like a great opportunity for this sort of interactive collaborative development between here in the Token Engineering Commons, and of course PrimeDAO putting out these ideas, and then Longtail Financial. There's a lot of LTF sort of token engineers and developers in here, and then Block Science providing advisory. So I just think it's beautiful how the ecosystem is coming together to build out these components, and I really like what PrimeDAO has done in putting together this document. So this is a nice spec for the token swaps, which could very well be modeled. And I'll just quickly bring up, here's the proposal, and maybe I'll review this a little bit quickly in a couple minutes, but we'll just start with GitHub, Commons build, and proposal inverter, because I just want to show what we had to start out with, which was done by Dr. Zargam in terms of specifications. So this is what we have started on as in terms of a spec. This was provided by Dr. Zargam, and so we have the states of the mechanism. So we have the allocated funds, unallocated funds, total funds, committed brokers, or we often call them workers, number of brokers, broker claimable funds, broker stake, total broker stake, and the time horizon. The parameters that can be set on a proposal are the minimum stake, the length of an epoch, the minimum number of epochs, allocations per epoch, so this is almost like the salary that workers get paid, the minimum time horizon, the minimum number of brokers, and the maximum number of brokers, and the sort of state transition of the mechanism.
What is a broker here, by the way?
Yeah, broker is a worker. So in that diagram that we were just seeing, I think in here, so a broker is at the bottom. So in this case, Jeff, Livia, Pat are brokers. Otherwise, broker is the standard term, so we're going to go with that. But usually I actually say worker. I feel like that's a bit more clear. They're providing the work, and the DAOs are funding the work. So those are the brokers. There are also, yeah, so those are the brokers. There's also payers. So one of these, there's an owner, so there needs to be some like DAO that actually initializes the proposal inverter like mechanism. So that's called the owner. So one of the payers is also going to be the owner, and then other payers can also join.
I had one question. So the payment, the currency, what will it be in ETH, or will it be the individual tokens of each DAO?
The payments, I believe, are facilitated in whatever token flows through the contract. So I think it could be any ERC20 token, if we're building it on Ethereum, which is kind of what makes the most sense. But these are really good questions to think about.
So means the pool of funds will have all the different tokens together.
Exactly.
There won't be like.
The pool of funds is essentially, it's just it's a smart contract, so it's an account on Ethereum, essentially a wallet, that these payers are sending money to, and then workers can sign up, and then sort of verified workers will get a flow of funds every epoch. So an epoch could be every day, or it could be every month, or it could be every hour. So as long as the brokers are approved and sort of registered with the proposal inverter, then they'll be getting this continuous stream of funds according to like allocations per epoch.
Yeah, I wonder which with which token the worker will be paid. How will that be decided? Like, will it be equal parts of all the different tokens in the pool, or like one token will end it first and then we'll go to the next?
Well, I've imagined it as like a homogeneous, like just one token. So maybe, and we'll see if this comes up in our models. Maybe we want to make this a part of our model, because there's sort of this transition from specification design to modeling, and then to actual development and deployment. And there's different levels of details that arise in those three different stages. But the more that you can capture in your modeling, the easier it's going to be in the development and deployment. So it's good to think about this stuff now. Yeah, so this is all accessible. I just want to make sure that this is accessible to everyone here. So let's see what. Oh, this is cool. It's different reference. This is the white paper, I think, from Nikita. Okay, so all of these proposal inverter references are available. I think there's a main document, like a proposal inverter. Here's a proposal inverter manifesto. And from here you can reach the this proposal that's been submitted, unless this is just the template. No, this is, so yeah, so you can reach the proposal that's been submitted. And then I guess the other sort of, okay, so all the references are here, I think. So we have the working repository, hackmd file, and the specs. So this could be cleaned up a little bit, I guess. I think the most important thing that you want to make sure you can access is the GitHub repository. And there's also a manifesto, which could, oh yeah, so this is actually where we divided up the work for the proposal inverter model development. I think I have it open already. Yeah, it's here. So we developed out the README, review of the terminology of sort of all the state and parameter variables, adding documentation throughout the model. We'll see that when we look at the actual model. Yeah, just rounding out all the parameters and states of the specification, and then building out the models themselves. So, and this is shifted a little bit. Owners, payers, brokers, the proposal inverter object, and the synthetic state change. Honestly, most of the things that I signed up for were actually done by Austin and Taz. So yeah, this proposal is currently under review. It hasn't formally been submitted yet to PrimeDAO. It's under sort of final review. And the feedback that we got from PrimeDAO is to make sure that it will fit into the overall DAO to DAO infrastructure that's being built out. So I think that's really like everything that we saw in this document. So we are definitely really excited to set up collaboration space. And I was going to get to this at the end, but I'll just mention this now. I almost feel like we might want to duplicate this space that we have. So right now we're in the TEC lab every Friday at this time. It's for 1 hour. I think it might be really interesting to make another session, another hour block in the week that is like a DAO to DAO development workshop. And that could be TEC, PrimeDAO, and Longtail Financial, and then any other DAOs, of course, that want to sort of jump in and help develop DAO to DAO infrastructure. I think we might want to set up a whole specific block for that recurring.
So can I jump in here?
Yeah.
So basically, I think where PrimeDAO might get involved here is at the UI side of development, which I think will require some time until we reach there. The way like PrimeDAO works is through funding groups of like squads or groups of people that are focusing on different products, different size of products, etc. So I'm not sure if bringing more people from DAO group will be helpful here, or whether those people will have the time. But every week we have a DAO to DAO update progress like syncing sessions that we can create a shared time for. On the other hand, I will be, I think, like active in these calls, so I can always act as a bridge between this proposed inverter group and other sides of PrimeDAO. Just want to clarify.
Okay, excellent. Now, and a note on that is that in these labs, I think we did about a 5 or 6 week series on the proposal inverter, so we actually have it modeled out. And we are, at this time, there is a new research series opening, which is reward systems. So we're going to be doing a lot of reward systems research in the labs here. So it won't necessarily be proposal inverter focused or DAO to DAO focused. We could come back to that in the future, but we do have about a 6 week series planned out now for opening up reward systems. It's DAO reward systems, so definitely relevant. So definitely stick around in the labs and act as a bridge. But if we want to do a lot of sort of modeling and simulation on DAO to DAO ecosystems and the PrimeDAO DAO deals infrastructure, we don't have the space in these TEC labs, like at least kind of for the fall. We could come back to it in the spring, which isn't, there's nothing on the schedule yet for the spring, but yeah, so in these research sessions, there's going to be a lot of reward systems research happening for the fall. And I really like what you said, we can come to you. So if there's a DAO to DAO sync session every week, then we can have people who are specifically working on things like, because what we want to bring is the modeling and simulation of these DAO to DAO components, so that we can work in parallel with the developers who are actually building out the smart contracts, to help them and help sort of the ecosystem have these models. Very much, if you followed the TEC, we put out these sort of dashboards, parameter dashboards, so that anyone can go and configure the parameters of the DAO, the parameters of the hatch, and see what that looks like and how that changes the initial conditions and things like that. So this is what we want to provide for the DAO to DAO development happening, and that's what is contained in the proposal here.
Yeah, okay, my bad. Like I am actually like super down to put up a new like another hour, like a workshop hour specifically focused on proposed inverter. I just wanted to slide there that like we won't have too many people from PrimeDAO to DAO team involved in those workshops. Although we should have those workshops, and we will have like syncing sessions. I'm just saying like the proposed inverter, the building will mostly fall on the shoulders of this group, or like whatever group takes on that.
Okay, so I think that's pretty clear, and I think what I could do is that Gamma or Atta? Oh, that's Atta. So I think I'll just grab you guys probably outside of this setting for like a quick sort of one-on-one or two-on-one or whatever, and we can finalize and touch up this proposal, and then shape out those sort of where the workshops are going to be, where the syncs are going to be, and what we can do in the labs. And for now, I think I'll hand it over to Austin, who has been doing a lot of work on the proposal inverter modeling, along with Taz, and along with a lot of the other people in here, Nuggin, and BK, and myself. So, Austin, do you want to show a little bit about what it looks like at this point?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is my own fork of the proposal inverter. I haven't put a pull request for the most updated one. And for the proposal inverter, we have This was developed mostly for the purpose of modeling, so not quite for the full implementation yet. So we just have a wallet class, and this is the base class for the owner and for the brokers. And we have a small broker agreement class here, and that's just to store the information about each of the workers, like when they joined and whenever they want to claim the amount of funds that they've made from working on whatever project it is. And for the proposal inverter, we have all of the variables that were specified in the doc, in the HackMD doc. And we implemented all of the functions that were specified there, right? So we have the 3 broker functions. So to add a broker to the proposal, for the broker to claim their funds whenever they feel like they want to claim. And so the broker can, attached to the agreement, can claim their accumulated rewards at their discretion. And those funds are allocated to them at every time the epoch is increased. And the broker can be removed if they choose to leave the proposal. These are a bunch of helper functions just to iterate the epoch for simulations and getting other information about the proposal. So getting the number of brokers, getting what number of funds is claimable at this moment, what funds have been allocated, the current horizon, and how many epochs we have funding left to. Yeah. And then a pay function in which the DAOs can increase the amount of funds to keep the proposal going longer. And the cancel function, which just stops all of the iteration, and it allocates the rest of the funds to whoever has put a stake into the proposal. So it returns the stake back to all of the brokers who are in the proposal, and splits up the remaining funds to those workers. And then the owner class, which is also just based on the wallet, and they only have 2 functions at the moment. One is to deploy, so that's to create a new proposal inverter in which brokers can join and put a stake in, and to cancel, which just calls the cancel function in the proposal inverter.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So what does it mean for a broker to put a stake in the proposal inverter?
So at the moment, when a worker joins with a stake, the stake's purpose is so that there is a minimum amount of time that they've kind of like promised to work on whatever the project is. And if they've worked on the project for the minimum number of epochs, then they'll get their stake back. But if they leave before the minimum number that they've committed to, then they'll only get their claimable funds and they'll lose their stake.
Is stake here basically, yeah, it's really token that they deposit the contract to back their claim?
Yes, I think that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you want more information on all of the functions, I think the HackMD explains it pretty well. Like there's a nice diagram that shows the flow of funds and a bit more detail on each of the functions that we've implemented and the purpose of each of the each of the actions. Are there any other questions?
Hey Austin, do you want to go through some of the tests? Because I think those actually show the usage kind of nicely.
Okay, so let's go through this claim. So this is a test where we first deploy the proposal inverter. So we have an owner, they have some funds, and when they deploy, they allocate some funds to the proposal inverter. And then we create a broker with some number of funds, and here we are adding a broker, and they're staking 50. And then just for the sake of simulating time passing, we're going to iterate over 10 epochs. And then at that point, we say the broker could claim the funds that they've had so far. So once they make their claim, the inverter's funds has decreased to 450. So at first it was 500. The broker staked 50, so that goes up to 550. And after 10 epochs, they've been allocated 10 units per epoch. So that means the inverter loses 100, and then the broker gains 100. Right? And then this is just the additional test where we're adding another broker, and they're adding another 50, and we're going through another 10 epochs, and then we're doing the same thing. We're letting each of the brokers claim their funds, and then checking that they have the right amount. Okay, so this is somewhat similar. We're just testing the removal. So we're setting up the same way. The owner has funds, and we're deploying the inverter with 500 funds. We have two brokers. Each of them are staking 100. So that means the inverter's funds should be 700. And then we have the minimum number of epochs as 28. So that means if we iterate to 30 epochs, then they should be over the minimum number of epochs. And so when they make their claims, and they're removed from the proposal, that means that they should get their claimed funds as well as their stake back. And that's what we're checking here. Yeah, I think those are the two tests that show at least the claiming and removal parts. The other tests are pretty similar. We're just testing the other details of the functions. Yeah, we don't have too much time left. Should we talk about the future steps?
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Austin. It's really nice to see it, to just get an idea of what it actually means to be doing the modeling on these. So, yeah, next steps. We did kind of talk about that a little bit. We kind of mixed up our agenda, but yeah, so I think I'll do a little review with the PrimeDAO team here, Gamma and Ada. We can just have a very kind of precise conversation about submitting the proposal that's been submitted, and also how modeling can be complementary to the development team. So we can join anyone interested in working on this modeling can of course join the syncs, the DAO to DAO syncs, and yeah, I guess there's kind of it's just good to have the intersection of the squads here, so that we can all see what everyone's working on, and start to build out more like complementary channels and pooled resources. But yeah, this is the kind of modeling we're doing, this sort of object-oriented modeling where we essentially build out the mechanism in Python, and then we build out classes for the agents of the system who are going to be using the mechanism, so the owners and the brokers, and then we can run these tests where we say, okay, what happens when they spin up a proposal inverter and we get this many brokers and this person leaves after this many epochs, and we can go through this iterative loop of refining those models, having them match the spec closer and closer and closer, and going through that process illuminates any cases where like the spec might not make perfect sense or might be missing something. And then that allows us to, when the development team goes and starts making these smart contracts, they basically have a map. They can see the code. I mean, it's already implemented in Python. They can see how all the methods were produced, how they function, and how they're used in a simulation. I think that's helpful documentation for the developers who are then putting that into smart contracts. And additionally, it allows us to run simulations on the ecosystem. We can say, hey, what would happen if 10,000 new brokers came in one day and were looking for work? Or what happens if there was a proposal inverter that was paying out 1,000? And I mean, you could even test a sort of, from an economics perspective, you could test agent behavior. So you could program in behavior into the agents. Say, what if brokers were only willing to work for a continuous payment that was greater than, you know, $1,000 a month or something? And we can, now that we have these object-oriented models, we can just mix and match them and combine them into greater and greater simulations where we start to simulate more components together. And then that's where the really interesting stuff comes out, is like the interactions between the components. If you have a joint venture module and you have a proposal inverter module and you have some agents in the system who can use either of those, and then you can program logic into those agents and see how the system unfolds. So I think that this has been brought up a lot here in the TEC labs and sort of with the common stack, is a need for like a library of models that can then be mixed and matched and plugged together and simulated for their the second order effects of like their interactions. So that's what we're trying to get to there. And I guess I don't need to talk so much. Maybe we can do a round. Maybe not everyone has to say anything if you're just kind of observing, but I think there's at least 6 or 7 people in here who have been pretty involved in either the modeling or coming from the PrimeDAO side. So maybe we can all just say a few words on what we see as next steps. So I'll go ahead and I think I've said enough from my perspective. Maybe I'll just pass it over to like Austin. What do you see for next steps?
With the model almost finished, I think the only thing left we have is to make sure there is a forced cancel in case the funds go lower than what can be allocated. But after that, then I think the model should be ready for going through simulations, and that'd be exciting for me to test that out.
Awesome. Yeah, just go ahead and pass it on to someone, and if for anyone who's like not super involved in this or doesn't have anything to say, just go ahead and pass it on again.
Okay. BK, you have anything?
Yeah, I'm not quite aware about the recent progress, so but still, like looking at today's work, I think we should have like A/B testing kind of thing with CAD probably to like further model out and churn out maybe all possibilities if that's required. But yeah, I think if Sean can say more about that, if that idea is like required or not.
Yeah, we'll come back to that, BK. I've got a note of it. A/B testing with CAD. That's interesting. Go ahead and pass it on to someone else for now.
Okay, I'll pass it to Taz.
I mean, most of my input's pretty similar to Austin's. The modeling is not completely done yet because we didn't implement the cancel function. So that's probably what I'm going to be working on next. But yeah, it should be ready for simulations pretty soon. I'm excited as well.
Okay, do you want to pass it on?
Yeah, I'll pass it on to Meta.
Was that Metaverde or?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. I haven't been tracking this yet. I think it's really exciting. And I don't have my glasses on, so I don't know who to pass it to. Can you take it, YGG?
Oh yeah, thanks Metaverde. I'll pass it over to Nuggin.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I was a bit late today, so I don't have that much to add or to say. I'm just happy to help. So Austin or Taz, if there's something I can do, yeah, just let me know. And I'll pass to Johan.
Johan might be AFK. It's pretty early for him, so I'll go ahead and pass over to Ada.
Okay. So I think we should move forward with setting up a new like call hour where we sync together on the progress on different sides of the development. We talk about more of the details of the mechanics. It's so happy to hear that like you guys already in a way like map the whole like modules, but I feel like we need to also talk and clarify certain mechanical questions such as how does depositing funds work, what kind of like can we support multiple tokens, etc. And I also think I bring in I will have a chat with our PrimeDAO team, but I want to see if we can bring a project manager from there to also help us create a roadmap where we have the design, testings, contract development, auditing process, UI design, etc. integrated into our next steps, so we have a clear understanding of how to reach the finalization stage. But overall, like I'm super excited about this. I'm actually going to have a call with a Gitcoin in 2 minutes because I met some of them in MCon Denver and was talking to them about proposal inverter. They were pretty much excited about this. So we will see what we can do together. They might also co-fund it. They might also send some people from their team to think with us how this can be implemented to Gitcoin's own funding modules. But in the end, I think it feels like it's time for us to like create a proposal inverter chat. I'm not sure if you guys want to have it in the TEC or we have it in the PrimeDAO Discord channel. But if we can create a channel and like a coordination setups for like communicating and syncing throughout all of these processes, it will be nice.
Yeah, I think having it in PrimeDAO is kind of good. I think it's nice to get a lot of people from the TEC checking out the PrimeDAO server.
Okay, cool. Then I guess we can deal with it with Gamma and send some updates to the TEC lab channel very soon.
Awesome. Yeah, let me know if you need anything like getting the word out or like some of the designs or creating some educational content over this. I can help with this. And wow, I'm really impressed with like all the progress you made so far. I didn't know you were so advanced in this, and I'm really proud of everyone. I want to praise all of you. So Yeah, that's it for my side. Oh, yeah. When it's ready for user testing, I would love to test.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Gamma. And Atta from joining from PrimeDAO. That's wonderful to have you guys here. And for all the new faces, so good to see so many new people joining in the labs. I hope we keep getting more new people every week. And so that's the top of the hour. So I just want to thank everyone for joining. Labs every week at the same time. So stick it in your calendar, add the TEC calendar, and I'll see you next week. And have a good weekend, everyone.
See you all.
Thanks, WG.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you, YGG. Thanks, guys.
Bye.